Now this is much better than the old version of the way I would fit a helmet. If the helmet was too big, then I need to feel good about myself, so I'd have somebody compliment me, and if it was too tight, then I would just watch a video of myself riding, and then my head would shrink down and my helmet would fit just fine.
All right,
That's the old version.
One last measurement.
I'm doing a video right now, or at least putting one together, talking about helmet safety and fit and some of the myths about helmets and what makes them safe and what to be looking for when you're out buying a helmet. I cannot express how important it is that a helmet fits you correctly. I'm down here at PCP Motorsports in Sacramento, California, because they are one of the roughly about a dozen places in the US where you can have a helmet custom fitted. Let me share with you some of the things I learned today. I've known and told people for a long time that it's really common for riders to buy helmets that are too large for them. What I didn't know was I am one of those riders. When they measured the helmet, so when they measured my head, the first thing they want to do when they do this personal fitting is make sure you're actually in the correct shell. And they have this really cool device here that measures your head forward to back and side to side, and then they measure the circumference. They put that into the computer spits out and says, you should be in what they told me was a medium. Now I've worn a large forever, and SHOEIs feel nice and snug, they're nice and tight on the head, so I grabbed off the shelf. They didn't have a Hornet medium, and I had already purchased the large. They didn't have a medium on the shelf, so I did grab the RF 1400, which I own at home, and I have a large. I'm very happy with the fit, and I put the medium on, and then I put a stock large on. And what I realized is the computer's close. Now, the medium still isn't right for me. That's always a starting point. It still was a little tight front to back, but what I realized is that medium actually had a much better fit. I could feel contact all the way around my head, where the large, once I put that on, I could feel little open spots where there wasn't any pressure in the helmet. Turns out that's not good, right? That helmet should fit snug all the way around. The other thing that they explained to me was that even on that medium, they can put padding in and change things to shift where that helmet sits on the head. And most of the time, or a lot of the time, they actually raise the helmet on the rider, and that takes pressure off those areas that we think are too tight. Another example of this is Christina wears in her helmet on her SHOEI, she's got a hot spot that's right on the forehead. And that's a fairly common complaint, especially for new helmets. The problem there is often that it's not too small, it's actually too large and not fitted properly. So you actually end up going to a smaller helmet, and then you end up changing where all the helmet rests, and you shift the pressure inside the helmet. Who knew? I didn't know. But here's a few of the other things I discovered about fitting a helmet. Not only do they go in here and they change the density and the thickness of all the foam all over. I was expecting maybe some cheek pads, maybe they change just the liner inside the helmet, but in fact what they do is they rebuild the entire comfort liner in the helmet with all of these custom built density and thicknesses of pads that make it fit properly. And it's not just to fill the gap, it's also to fix your vision. So they end up taking the helmet and they can pull it back or push it forward to increase your peripheral. But also they raise the helmet to make sure your eyes are sitting dead center. So it's not sitting too low on the brow. That improves the vision. What I discovered is a lot of the things I thought I knew about helmets and what I knew about fit wasn't necessarily as accurate as I thought. And to give you some backdrop, I've been teaching about helmets and motorcycles now for about 28 years. That's a long time to discover you're still learning things. These are things I never actually realized about a helmet, because the traditional thing was you buy your helmet, you see what fits, you look on it, you put it on, you walk around the dealership. If it gives you a headache, you go up a size. If it's really nice and tight like this and you can't talk very well, but it doesn't give you a headache, you buy it, because within the first 30 days, they all break in. So essentially, you're gonna lose half a size in your helmet within the first month. So if you put a helmet on, it feels perfect when you first put it on, that's a problem, because within about 30 days, it's gonna be too loose. Fit really makes a difference. So the SHOEI right now it's an experiment, mostly coming to the US. They've been doing this fitting system overseas for for what they tell me, about 4 to 5 years over in Japan. It's been very successful, but they also have a very different riding culture over there, dealer networks and everything else. So they have about a dozen locations in the States. My thoughts is if I lived within a few hours or even 3 hours of a location to get a fitting and I was going to go with the SHOEI, I would absolutely make the investment to ride down and get it fitted properly. And if I lived in one of those vast areas, and I currently actually I do live in one of those areas where they don't have anybody who can do that fitting, I would certainly look at opportunities during a vacation or travel or any kind of a trip where I could get into one of these locations and get my helmet fitted in properly. I have no paid sponsors on this channel. It is 100% supported through viewers like you that support me on Patreon. That's where the video budget comes from. That's how I'm able to do this stuff. So my excitement about this brand of product is just because it's a brand I've already I've got a lot of history with. It works well for me, and because I got to learn something new. As everybody assumes I wear the hat under the helmet. So do you want to take the measurements with the hat on or the hat off?
Hat.
No, without the hat. All right, all right.
So one soft, one hard in the front. One soft, two hards in the rear. Side lowers.
Okay, now that sounds really dirty, by the way. So I hope you're still talking about the pads.
Yeah, it's still about the pads.
I'm going to drive my rental car like this today. I'm just going to go down the road and be like, yeah, baby, let's do this. And then the CHP can follow me. Yeah,
there you
I'll
go.
drive like 5 under the speed limit everywhere and just wear my helmet. I think that's my plan.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting the channel. Make sure you hit like, leave some comments, and I'll see you guys for the next video.